In today's video, we're going to be looking at Overtone in the color Ginger. I'm so happy that Overtone makes these little sample sizes because it's perfect. So my swatches are labeled 1 through 12, but that is not synonymous with hair levels. We do pictures and close-ups near the end of the video, so the numbers just help us keep track of each swatch. These are human hair swatches, but they are not all virgin hair. The only one that actually is virgin hair is the number 4 black swatch. The rest have probably been chemically dyed or bleached at some point in their existence. 1 is green. Red and green are across from each other on the color wheel, so I wanted to see how well this gingery color would cover green. 2 is gray. 3 is a natural red. 4 is black. And then from 4 to 11, we have a range that goes to platinum blonde. And then number 12 is like a toned version of number 11. So to start, I'll take the dye directly from this container and I'll put it at the top of each swatch. And then some people like to dilute their dyes, so I will do a diluted version at the bottom of each swatch. So please keep in mind everyone's hair is different, which means everyone's hair will take dye differently. Also, I've noticed that different monitors and screens will make colors look very different in undertone, so please just use my video as a reference for how this could possibly turn out for you. For the diluted section, we're going to do a 4-to-1 ratio. So that is 4 parts of diluter to 1 part dye. If you don't know what diluter is, my simplest answer is always that it's just something that lightens the color of your dye. And I always just use a plain white conditioner for diluting. So I'm going to let these sit for about 3 hours. I will then rinse them out, and when they're dry, I will meet you back here and we can do some comparisons. Okay, I will not lie. I did expect this to look a little less orangey and maybe a little more brown. So the interesting thing about this to me is that on the package, this color is meant for blonde hair, but to me it doesn't really look like a gingery redhead until you get to the darker blonde, light brown swatches. To me, the blonde ones look straight up orange. I don't know. So number 1 was the green, and actually, the top here, it does look gingery. It's a very warm toned brown, so basically it looks to me like the ginger did kind of tone out the green, and it turned it like a brown with warm undertones, so almost, almost like a natural red. As for the lighter swatches, I feel like the number 2 looks the most gingery compared to the blonde swatches. It's not quite as orange, but still fairly orange, just not as orange as these. The number 3 on the direct dye, it looks a little bit more red but the diluted section doesn't look too much different from what I remember. There's no difference on number 4. Number 5, you might be able to tell a difference in natural lighting, but it's really not enough of a difference. And then number 6, I can see reddish undertones in the direct dye, but it still looks fairly brown. And to me, the most like ginger, what I picture ginger at least to look like, is the number 7 on the direct dye. But again, beware, on the container it says it's meant for blonde hair, so if you have virgin hair that is especially like light brown, dark blonde, or darker than that even, it might not take on your hair. So I wanted to jump into the comparisons now. Originally, I thought about comparing this to Arctic Fox's Sunset Orange, but upon comparing them, to me the Sunset Orange was a little bit too red in undertone. So I decided instead that we'll look at the Sunset Orange mixed with Cosmic Sunshine from Arctic Fox. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. So if you weren't aware, Sunset Orange is an orange from Arctic Fox, and Cosmic Sunshine is like a bright sunshine yellow. So when you mix the two together, you get a slightly more yellowy toned orange instead of a like red leaning orange. But now I'll admit, now that I see the ginger next to a truer orange, the ginger does look a lot more natural and much more gingery. The ginger, especially when it's diluted, does lean a lot more like golden than the mix even does. I think there's just too much red in the Sunset Orange for it to look similar. And my other comparison I wanted to do was Manic Panic in the color Psychedelic Sunset. This is comparable to number 12, number 11, and number 10. From what I can find out of my stash, the Psychedelic Sunset is the most yellow leaning orange that I have. The others lean a little bit too red in comparison to this ginger. Now, because the ginger is meant to look a little bit more natural, I don't have any dupes, but to me, the Psychedelic Sunset looks like a more saturated version. So if you've tried ginger and you realize you want it to be brighter, the Psychedelic Sunset might be a good option. Guess it just depends what you're looking for. Maybe it's the other way around and Psychedelic Sunset was too bright for you. Maybe you want something more natural looking and the ginger would then be the option for you. And for anyone else who's wondering, I have done the ginger mix for Arctic Fox as well, but that one was definitely too red leaning in comparison as well. So from here, I'd like to get into the before and after clips. Those, as well as anything at the end of this video, will be done in natural lighting. I hope this video helped. If you have a request, I do have a link below to a Google form you can fill out. Just remember, I only do dyes. I do not test on animals. Thank you so much to my patrons, and thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in my next video.